The Sweet Sound of Success show is brought to you by the Mentor Studio. The Mentor Studio is an exclusive mentoring and training program for social influencers, business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, and startups, bringing personal development to the underserved around the world. And brought to you by Success Strategists. Simple strategies that work to develop your business with flow and ease using proven strategies and the right tactics. This is the Sweet Sound of Success with Sue Wilhite, Profit Attraction Master. Michael Silvers serves as the Executive Vice President of Global Training for Power Team International, a business development company that offers 300 plus trainings annually worldwide. Michael is responsible for developing and coordinating the company's training, masterminds, mentoring, and coaching programs worldwide. He is a master trainer and practitioner of NLP, as well as an advanced neurological repatterning. He excels in leading and developing teams and individuals to achieve peak performance and has helped tens of thousands of individuals create the wealth and engineer the lifestyle that they truly desire. He has recently co-founded with Mary Glorfield the Mentor Studio, which is the Sweet Sound of Success sponsor and serves the underserved community in personal development all over the world. Welcome, Michael. Thank you for being a guest on my show.
Oh, thank you so much. It's always great to be here, and you're just amazing. You've already mentored so many of our community, and just you're always there. You always show up, and you just get it done. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you. So for those audience members who don't know about the show and haven't listened to any other episodes of it, the format of the show deals with the subtitle of the show, which is The Hero's Journey for the Entrepreneur's Soul. And I take out 5 pieces from that entrepreneur's journey. And that is the ordinary beginning, which I always say in air quotes because nobody has an ordinary beginning, the call to action, the big hairy monsters that you got to play with, and this is going to be your favorite subject, and we'll have to hold that one down a little bit, mentors, guides, assists, the Gandalfs, the wind beneath your wings, the folks that helped. But these are the folks that helped you, Michael, okay? And then the journey home. How do people at home in your life deal with you as you became an entrepreneur and as you became more and more successful? So there's the format. Michael, what was your ordinary beginning?
You know, it's interesting. That's the story as it leads up. So everybody sit back. You know, this will be 3 hours now. I'm kidding. So we used to do that from stage all the time. You know, my ordinary beginning, it's funny because I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and I always wanted to be a police officer. That was what I wanted to do. And going on that journey, it was, you know, watching Adam 12. Okay, yes, that dates me, everybody, you know, and really wanting to be of service and help others in the community and make a difference. And so a lot of my life led up to that, where I became a Los Angeles police officer for a very short period of time. And I was injured very early on, which then really took a turn. And I decided, what do I need to do next? I actually worked at Raleigh Studios for a year in film production, but I didn't know if I wanted to go down that journey. And I really took a look at what was that next step. So I got my master's in political psychology because I did what everybody else does. When you don't know what you want to do, you go back to university, right? It's one of those things. And I did that, but then
bartending.
Right. That's right. Well, in the movie industry, right? It's bartending or it's becoming the waitress, yeah. Right? That's what somebody once said. I said, so what does everybody do in LA? And all the hands went up and said, were you a waiter? I'm like, that's funny. but it was the kind of thing where then that led me to still wanting to help more, but having a family and being married and then children, wanting to do something where I always had a established income, because I loved what I did with clinical psych and worked with the development disabled. But like the state of California, one day, 172 of us lost our income, and things like that always happened because of state funding and state mandates. So I became a nurse. Let me turn that off. Male nurse jokes, we're done. So I became a nurse, moved up to Washington State with my wife, and that's where the journey started to be the entrepreneur.
Right. So what was the call to action to become an entrepreneur? I mean,
yeah, it's a great, right.
Consideration.
The biggest thing was because I was really taking a look at, I was becoming a nurse practitioner actually. And I was going between Seattle and Spokane to Gonzaga to get my nurse practitioner, and also working full time, and also doing my clinicals and 3 children and working that all out, realizing this can't be all. And it cannot be, and I loved what I did, but it could not be this on-call, because I first thought, well, I'll open 5 clinics, but, HMOs and everything hit really big in the 90s. So everything, all the docs who worked started to say, it's not going to be the journey you think it's going to be. And, my wife and I really looked at each other, and for us, the call to action was a change. Wanting to make a difference in the world, wanting to make a difference in as many lives as possible, but also not getting caught in this 90 hours a week and not being able to be there for the family.
Right. That's the myth, right? Is that you can work when you want. You can kiss your boss goodbye. Well, guess what? You can't leave your boss at home.
No. And it was really that thing that I really, and I love being a nurse, but I wanted to do something that I truly loved, but I had more, you don't have control over anything, but I had more control over was the perception, and wanting to make a difference. And that's where our next journey started.
Right. So what were some of the big hairy monsters that you got to play with in that entrepreneurial journey? What sorts of things did you do? Everybody's got thousands of them.
Yeah. A lot of the big ones for us is we actually jumped into, actually it first started a little kicking and screaming, and then jumped into actually network marketing, multi-level marketing. And so right away, because, my wife wanted to do it and really, moved us in. I had a product experience, but I saw it and I didn't. I wanted to play a little bit in the internet realm, but then this one had products, and I just thought, okay, maybe this is a change. Maybe this is something we could do differently. And literally, she just signed us up and got us rolling, which was great because for us, this is an avenue or a working way out. This is a way we can still make a difference, still be on our mission to help the world. Doing it together was great. So big hairy monster that I didn't have originally was where the spouses don't get along in this kind of situation, right? One signs up, but the rest of the world around us was like, are you crazy? What are you doing? Are you in a cult? We heard everything. The first get together we ever had. And the company was Neekin. I don't hide anything, right?
Oh, yeah.
The first we invited 35 of our friends, and our kids were so excited. We went to Costco, bought a whole bunch of food. Guess how many showed up? Nobody. And that's the point in life as an entrepreneur. You can either say, I stopped and I quit. And my son looks right at me going, this is awesome. This food is all for me now. And that comment, right, with let alone we're not going to quit anyways, but I went, this is right. This is awesome. And then we turned around a week later, we invited some other people. And then it just started to blossom from there. And then I got, that courage part, because part of our group was Bob Proctor.
Wow.
So all of a sudden we started to get all this personal development. We read Think and Grow Rich, and we started to work heavily in personal development. And that started to get us out of that hairy monster, because we had a lot of negativity. And even in personal development, going down that road, we had a lot of it's those people who are going to pump you up and you're not going to do anything. And we just kept moving, where within a year we had our lives were totally changed.
Right.
And so the hairy monster part, the one thing I'll say to anybody is circle yourself with those who we'll get to mentoring, right? But maybe I'll leave this for that part, but just circle yourself with people who will support what you do and start to realize, who do you want to hang out with?
Yes, absolutely. It's one of the things that I tell my coaching clients, that, if you surround yourself with negativity, your self-esteem is going to go down and it's going to be really hard to do anything. But if you get people who, might give you a gentle love tap once in a while and correct course, but who are generally supportive of you, then yeah. So talk about, besides Bob Proctor, who, totally jealous of that, but who are some of your other mentors and allies?
What happened was, so we're doing this network marketing. We did well. We started reaching out to just people we knew. And I had friends that were actually very supportive and said, well, I do know some people who could really benefit. Because I always treated it early on, we both treated it as a business. We're looking for the business leaders around us. That brought us through the personal development. We got very involved. We started to take, so for me, it was Bob Proctor right away, but then Zig Ziglar joined him on the journey in Beacon for a little bit. And now I met two of them, right? And I'm like, and I don't know really who they were before, because I wasn't that big in personal development. When I realized who I'm playing with, I'm like, well, darn. The other thing we realized when it came to mentors is I reached out to the highest person in the company, the second biggest income earner of the whole company. And I said to her, I'm ready to run. I'm ready to do this. Will you play? And she said, yeah, because most people don't do, either they don't call me, right? Because they think I'm too busy, or they don't do what they say they're going to do. And within 90 days, we had done 3 times what we said we were going to do. So you have to be a leader, because also for your teams, you have to be a leader and be ahead. But that led us to the journey of taking also courses with Mr. T. Harv Eker at the Millionaire Mind. Then that led us, and we started to say yes to everything, because Bob Proctor said, buy every course, read every book. Right. And really dive into personal development. So we did. We bought everything. We started to, and then we ran into a gentleman. We were introduced by a friend who we had brought into Nikan. And that's how we met him, to a gentleman named Chris Howard, who was having all these courses, mostly in the US, but actually mostly in Australia. And we bought everything. Everything was $26,000 back then. And my wife and I did it together. She loved the first night. It was very didactic. I was like, whatever. The second day, I loved it because it was all, and she had to go back to nursing that day. The third day, she comes back and we're buying a $26,000 course. And she's like, okay. And then we made the decision, instead of taking it all in the US, let's go take it in Australia. Let's do something very different. And we did. And that really led to our journey to Chris Howard and my wife writing a proposal overnight, running his whole online. And then I became his director of coaching. She ran his crew and a billionaire. And that led to 5 years of a phone call from T. Harv Eker. Here's the circle back, right? And so we started to have all these really tremendous mentors. And I ran Chris's online calls. So I was doing hundreds of calls at that point with Wayne Dyer and other people. So I started to surround myself with the best of the best, the mentors who were at least 5 to 10 years ahead of me with finances, lifestyle, thought process. And that kept me up because every day I thought, I love what I do. Yeah. And this is 22 years later, and I still, with my wife, love what I do. I get excited by it. And then, of course, it was the 10 years with Harv and Success Resources, and we put Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki on around the world, and all the travel. And then 8 years ago, met Mary Glarfield. And so she became a mentor because she was Tony's VP for 18 years. She did 4 million miles with Tony. I always say 4 million miles, 82 countries, 3 million participants. I don't got to say anything else. And we built our legacy product, the Mentor Studio, which is the journey we're on now for the rest of our life.
Right. So you're turning around and giving it back.
Exactly. It's to serve the underserved, to bring mentoring to those who normally couldn't afford it, couldn't reach out. I mean, most people have a cell phone. Stunning, not most. A lot of people have cell phones, and it's how that is, but they can't even afford $30 a week, a month, a year. That might be, so we're really moving out to give that. And that's why, we've built mentors in 14 countries. We have 350. Well, we're going to have 450. It doesn't matter. It's getting the mission out to serve the underserved, and also partnering with the players that can get us there. So that's the mentoring part, everybody. But also, please stop doing it alone. Joint venture, joint venture, joint venture.
Yes. and surround yourself with people who are going to move you forward.
That's it.
And I'll take another lesson out of what you said. Be brave, courageous, bold, and self-confident enough to reach out to those people and ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's it.
It's one of the curses of self-reliance that we put such a heavy emphasis on self-reliance, particularly in the US. And asking for help is just verboten. I mean,
No, I can do this myself.
Yes.
I worked from home for almost 21 years now. Oh, I can do this myself. And I still do that, right? I have to be careful. My team will go, why are you doing that? Right, I know, Sue, you know this. And we get caught in that all the time. And then it stops being fun because then, am I really able to make a difference anymore? Do I have the time to make a difference anymore?
Right. And then it takes the toll on your mind, body, and spirit.
Yes, very much.
And you don't have enough to give.
Very much. Very much.
Absolutely. So your wife obviously was on board, and I guess as long as you were serving food, maybe your kids were on board.
Oh yeah. And actually, our daughter took a lot of courses. She did all of Chris Howard's courses, and then even one year, our oldest, I got to fly to Hong Kong, and she assisted at an event over there. When would that happen? And our younger ones have gone through the courses. I think, Christopher went through the Millionaire Mind, and our youngest, Emily, she went through Chris's Breakthrough Success when she was 12, 13. I'm trying to remember the age, but it's they're on their own journeys and they're on their own missions, but they're always been very aware of what we're doing. And anytime we can help or anything that they need, and also knowing that I come from, you can do this. You can get it done. Say yes to the right things. Make sure that there's never harm to yourself or others. That's ecological. And then you got to just go for it. Because the entrepreneur journey is up and down, right and left. There's days where you go, oh, this is not looking the way it should. And then you have to readjust every day with your mentors, right? I always say the road to success is 3 coaches, 2 mentors, and a mastermind. It's your coach who will kick your behind. That's a clinical term. It's your coach who understands your business. It's your coach who is maybe your spiritual, your personal trainer, whatever. It's for your body, your soul, your mind. And then you have the 2 mentors, one typical, and these are not your brother-in-law. That's Bill Walsh, who I work with at Power Team, always says that. He's so right. Your mentors are people that you pay for. Your mentors are people you invest in. And one is typically lifestyle, and the other one is going to be maybe financially where you want to be, or spiritual, whatever that is. And then a mastermind, this group of individuals that get together to create something from nothing. And I created masterminds for the greatest, the biggest. Mary co-created the one for Tony Robbins. So between the 2 of us, we've got them all. And I always say to people, just join. Stop thinking. You think too much, and now you're 6 years down the road, nothing's happened.
Right. And it's a little bit about what Harv used to say at the very when I used to go to his events at the very beginning. It's like, forget everything that you ever knew, and stop thinking I already know this. Right.
That's right. That's exactly. And it's the piece of, because I get that so much still. Here I am 22 years down the road, and 2 of my biggest mentors right now, 3 of my mentors are Bill Walsh from Power Team, because the way he looks at business and making things, I have so, but that's where I use mentors like that. Mary Glorfield, who's done more by far, I look at all the countries my wife and I did and all the things we've done, and the millions of students that I've tapped is still, I have so much to learn. And now Brian Forte, who ran and owned Get Motivated, still the largest promotion machine on the planet, biggest events ever. So who am I to say, oh, I know that already? What I say is, teach me, and I just be quiet.
Yes. Yeah, because if you knew it, you'd be the one up on stage.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So your interaction with your community, which is what the journey home is all about, has been, it sounds like, an overall positive experience, because you just went for it. You did it. You walked the shoes. You've got the results. My favorite entrepreneur question is, when are you going to get a real job? And
Yeah.
my answer is always, is CEO not a good enough job for you?
Right. That's right. It's funny. The one term, there's terms out there and people say, so what do you do for the Mentor Studio? What I always say, I'm managing partner. The reason that I've kept that term, right? Because from it doesn't matter. It's all, but is I'm a partner with all of you. And I feel that that's a really big thing for me. And I understand, I'm CEO of the company, blah, blah, blah. But, when the Mentor Studio launched, the interesting thing is I was thinking, I want just phenomenal people. And I kept putting, and so you, of course, came along, but, I put that intention out that I want phenomenal people. We've had very little bleed off, is what they say, people leaving, but you want them to leave. Do not convince, if you're on your mission, everybody, do not have to convince, just like in network marketing, don't convince them to be there. Let them come to it if they want to.
Right.
And so we are so solid as a community. We've had less than about a 4% bleed off, which I was willing to take 22%. And we have a core group who will just do anything together. And at the same time, you got to make it about, we always overserve. We basically give enough every time that I think we've covered everything, right? Because there's the entry group and then there's the very little cost of being a member or a mentor. And I'm thinking, God, that's nothing, because I only ever sold $25,000 programs. Right. So this is a fraction. But to me, you overserve no matter what. If there's one person in the room willing to listen to you, you still play out as you're an audience of 10,000.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. I wish I could tell that to other coaches, presenters, speakers that I've met. So, Michael, surprise question, or maybe not such a surprise. What is your absolute favorite thing about what it is that you do? The thing that if it happened every day, 40 times a day, you would still light up like a Christmas tree, fireworks, 4th of July. It's like, yes. What would that be?
That's a good question. So I thought, because the other question I thought we were going for is, where have you always wanted to live if you could live anywhere? And I would have said above the Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes. Let's see. Really what lights me up every single day is there's always, it's when I can serve. What lights me up every day is a situation, they happen all the time, where somebody will hit me on Facebook and they're like, I'm 20 years old and I'm starting out. Can you give me one tip? Those are the things that happen almost every single day, that really light me up, that really keep me going. I once, somebody asked me this question very similar. And I once said, actually waking up in the morning, looking at my wife gets me up every single day. I realize why we're doing this. Look at the picture of the grandkids and my kids. Yes, I have children. They listen to these things. And that really does. Those are the kind of simple things that get me up every single day, that rock my world every single day.
Nice. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. I think there's a complication we do sometimes there, because somebody once said, well, is it about the money? If it's about the money, then I'm not being of service. Money's not a bad thing. Money's good. Money, you can do a lot. I donate a lot more than a lot of people out there. But it's what gets me up is, have I served? Did I serve somebody today? And if that question gets answered, it's been a great day.
Fabulous. Wonderful. Thank you again, Michael, so much. This has been an awesome interview. This is great learning your origin story. And thank you to the viewers and listeners of The Sweet Sound of Success. What are your dreams for your business? You know what drives me crazy? really smart business owners denying their talents because they've been taught it has to be hard, because they've been taught that they don't deserve their gifts, that they're not worth anything. They've been taught that their gender means they can't express their genius. I'm Sue Wilhite, and I want you to have access to your genius. I want you to go out and rock the world with your genius. So I created the Call to Action Coaching Program. It's all about getting to the heart of you and what you've got to share with the world to make a profitable business that thrives and allows you to make a difference in the world. Click the link to sign up for the Call to Action Coaching Program today. Don't let your genius go unnoticed.